Good evening, everyone. My name is Ed Cornfield. On behalf of the Alaskan Aviation Safety Foundation and Alaska Public Media, welcome to another edition of Hangar Flying. My guest tonight is John Hartke. I've asked him to come back to talk to us about some of the unique flying that he's done. Welcome back to Hangar Flying, John.
Thank you, Ed.
So last week we discussed, last time we discussed your Air Force career. What I'd like to do is, we've got a picture that's coming up now, and maybe just talk about that a little bit. Coming up on the screen. Yep, there it is. Just what is that?
Okay, that was my last job in the Air Force, and that was flying the F-4 Phantom, both in training German Air Force pilots as well as the U.S. Air Force drone program. All four of those aircraft are drones that are destined to be shot down in missile testing and such for the U.S. Air Force and other weapon systems our nation has. But anyhow, they're also flying out in formation over the ocean at Tyndall Air Force Base near Panama City, Florida. The F-4 was a very interesting airplane to fly, a little bit older technology than some of the other airplanes I flew. It was a real nice airplane to fly formation and very, very light at the controls for an airplane that was that large.
Okay. So you're also a member of the Commemorative Air Force. So maybe briefly tell us what the mission of the Commemorative Air Force is and your involvement.
Well, the mission of the Commemorative Air Force is to keep some of the older aircraft from the World War II era flying so that folks today can hear and see the sights and sounds. It's the way they were used to some of the airplanes that led up to where we currently are. In Alaska, we are very fortunate to have two airplanes in the Commemorative Air Force. A Harvard, which is the same as a T-6 Texan or the SNJ that the Navy flew. And we also have a BT-13 that we're very fortunate that Mike Hunt donated to the Commemorative Air Force. I've been fortunate to fly with the Commemorative Air Force up here for about 5 years, and it's an opportunity I never expected to have in my lifetime.
And there's also, there's another picture that's coming up on the screen now. Should be, yeah, there it is. So tell us about this one.
Well, this is a picture taken back in November, I think the 11th of November to be exact. It was on Veterans Day. We had done a flyby over the cemetery commemorating Veterans Day. And then we also went out and did some formation training. Myself and Pat Miller are in the lead airplane. He took the picture. And then it's Rob Renner Cricket in the silver airplane, and then Ed Cornfield, who I'm speaking with here in the yellow Harvard, which is the Commemorative Air Force airplane. But we're practicing formation flying in this photo. And to do that, it requires a little bit of skill. It's a three-dimensional, obviously forward and backwards, up and down, and so on. But it's something that you can't stay good at if you're not constantly practicing it. And it is a challenge, and it can be difficult, but once you get used to it, it's not so bad. And to liken it to driving down the Glen Highway in your car, you're 6 feet away from the car to your left or right, and you can stay even to them in and out. That's formation flying in 2 dimensions. In 3 dimensions is what you do with an airplane.
So there are many different opportunities in the Commemorative Air Force. Obviously volunteers, some pilot opportunities, so maybe you can just touch on those, some of those opportunities. What if I wanted to fly one of those warbirds?
Well, in the Commemorative Air Force, we have our meetings every Thursday at Merrill Field at 6 o'clock, and we have a number of members. Probably the biggest responsibility we have is taking care of the airplanes, keeping them clean, keeping them maintained and ready for flight. Then the other things that we do is in flying and making sure that we have the correct proficiency to fly them safely, as well as getting other folks instruction to get checked out into new members who would like to fly them as well.
Now, you also have BT-13, and there's a rides program. What's that all about?
Yes, it's again part of the mission of the Commemorative Air Force, and not just having the airplanes to demonstrate to fly for people, but to take folks along flying in them so that they can see what the actual sights and sounds were like from a perspective inside the airplane.
Well, that's good. I'm going to put one more picture up here. We're almost out of time, but this picture is of kind of a unique airplane that you also get to fly. What is that?
That's a Ford trimotor, and I'm privileged to be one of the folks flying with the EAA. They have a Ford trimotor, one that they own and one that they're leasing, and they have a rides program that they're doing throughout the lower 48. Similar mission to the Commemorative Air Force, but to show the airplanes the way it was done a long time ago. And it's a really neat, very stately airplane, 1929, 1931 vintage, that used to be the way that folks would travel if they're well off, and at just a different pace of life. And
There's a picture of the inside, which I think is pretty small. But anyway, John, thank you very much for joining us on Hangar Flying, and we appreciate you coming talking about your experiences and telling us your story. Thanks very much, folks, and fly safe.